marched, plundered newsrooms while journalists barely escaped. As anarchy and arson gathered steam in Bangladesh last night, anti-India slogans were raised outside the Indian Assistant High Commission. With extremism on rise, Indian envoy's residence was also attacked.
So, Bangladesh is yet again on the edge. The death of the radical student leader Sharif Osman Hadi after his death has ignited fresh unrest that has raised fears that Bangladesh's already volatile situation is only going to be sliding in far more dangerous phase. There's more on that.
Bangladesh is reeling from another violent turn in its turbulent politics. Severe unrest, anti-India slogans. The trigger point? Assassination of their 32-year-old radical student leader, Sharif Osman Hadi. A radical student leader with an anti-India stance. Also circulated maps of so-called Greater Bangladesh that had several Indian territories. According to police, the timing of the attack immediately raised alarms. Hadi was shot at 2:25 p.m. in the Bijoynagar area. The video shows Hadi was riding in a rickshaw when he was followed by attackers on a motorbike, one of whom opened fire before escaping. Osman Hadi was a frontline leader of last year's July uprising in Bangladesh, the student protest that ended the 15-year rule of ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. His killing raises urgent questions about power, extremism, and whether the country's unrest is entering a far deadlier phase. Hadi headed the radical student outfit Inqilab Manch to dismantle the Awami League. Hadi was prepared to transition from activist politics into electoral politics. Despite getting barred by UNIS government from contesting the national elections, Hadi was a candidate for the upcoming polls and was campaigning as an independent candidate from the Dhaka's Bijoynagar area. His campaign for the February 12 elections was in full swing when he was shot in the head by unidentified gunmen on December 12. Hadi was sent to Singapore earlier this week for advanced treatment after doctors in Dhaka described his condition as extremely critical. But Hadi succumbed to his injuries on Thursday despite the best efforts of the doctors. With Hadi's death, Bangladesh stands at a dangerous crossroads, and the fight for power threatens to plunge the nation into even deeper chaos.
Campaign to save the Aravallis gathers steam. National concern over redefining Aravalli mountains range that protects all of North India. And Republic TV investigation exposes what the government will not show you. An extensive ground report on how construction continues in Delhi past midnight.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
So primarily, when we talk about air quality index, AQI, basically the full form of AQI is air quality index, which is basically various parameters on which the air quality is assessed. Of course, in India, we actually follow PM 2.5, which is particulate matter 2.5.
This week on Get Me Right, 3 events that together signal a tectonic geopolitical shift in the world. the United States released its national security strategy paper. The UK, its intelligence and security report from the parliament. And amidst all this, China crossed, for the first time in world history for any nation, $1 trillion of trade surplus. And then the gas chamber that our national capital becomes every winter. Is there any hope, or are we condemned to live this forever? This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, only on Republic TV.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा और मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ।
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
So primarily, when we talk about air quality index, AQI, basically the full form of AQI is air quality index, which is basically various parameters on which the
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा और मसाला। प्लीज स्टॉप। झुमका तेरा झुमका तेरा झुमका। नॉट देयर, मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा। तेरा झुमका। मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
So primarily, when we talk about air quality in
from Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching 6 Stories at 6 with me, Oina Mitra. Over the next half an hour, I'll take you through those 6 stories which have dominated the headlines today. So here we go. Up first, a frame-by-frame account of all that has unfolded in Bangladesh in the last 12 to 18 hours as radicals take Dhaka by storm. Second, who is Osman Hadi, the controversial political leader whose killing led a ruthless, absolutely ruthless mob to unleash total anarchy on the streets with no fear of the law whatsoever? Third, Republic TV continues its Save the Aravallis campaign, for we believe that without India's shield, there will never be a long-term solution to the issue of AQI.
Next, a special investigative report that puts into context how the Delhi government is essentially defying government rules, throwing the so-called grab for measure into the bin. Then a look at how India's political class has dismissed India's biggest public health emergency, with Parliament being adjourned without having debated the issue of AQI. And finally, the story of former Maharashtra Minister Manikrao Kokate, who has been convicted in a 1995 cheating scam. With that, let's get started. And viewers, our first story, fresh violence has erupted in Bangladesh since last night after anti-India activist Osman Hadi died in Singapore. Osman Hadi, he was attacked. He lost his life in a killing, and what essentially happened was that viewers, his killing led to a violent mob unleashing open anarchy and arson violence in Bangladesh. Offices of leading newspapers including Daily Star and Prothomalo ransacked, vandalized. The complete story of what has unfolded in Dhaka over the last 24 hours, frame by frame, brought to you. Take a look.
Offices set ablaze. Properties vandalized. Documents burnt. And all this in Bangladesh after Singapore Foreign Ministry confirmed the death of Osman Hadi, an anti-India activist and the forefront campaigner for disbanding Sheikh Hasina's Awami League. Ransacked, vandalized, and burnt. This is the office of Dhaka's leading national newspaper, Daily Star. Visuals describe the plunder of Prothomalo office, another leading national daily in Bangladesh. Violent mob entered the Prothomalo office, destroyed it, vandalized the property, and all the papers were thrown out and burnt in open. This is the residence of former Bangladesh PM Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The smoke of radicalism rises with a free run to extremists in Bangladesh. The mob that calls itself student activists marched, plundered newsrooms, while journalists barely escaped. As anarchy and arson gathered steam in Bangladesh last night, anti-India slogans were raised outside the Indian Assistant High Commission. With extremism on rise, Indian envoy's residence was also attacked.
And viewers, Bangladesh is once again on the edge, as we just showed you, reeling from a fresh wave of protests after it turned violent. Streets have now erupted in protests as 32-year-old radical student leader Sharif Osman Hadi was killed in Dhaka. Known for his hardline anti-India and Greater Bangladesh stance that has included Indian territory, specifically India's northeast, Hadi's killing has sent shockwaves across the country and ultimately unleashed a ruthless mob who have been on a rampage. This essentially is an escalation of the violence that we have seen in Dhaka since last year, the student uprising of 2024. Take a look.
Bangladesh is reeling from another violent turn in its turbulent politics. Severe unrest, anti-India slogans. The trigger point? Assassination of their 32-year-old radical student leader, Sharif Osman Hadi. A radical student leader with an anti-India stance. Also circulated maps of so-called Greater Bangladesh that had several Indian territories. According to police, the timing of the attack immediately raised alarms. Hadi was shot at 2:25 p.m. in the Bijoy Nagar area. The video shows Hadi was riding in a rickshaw when he was followed by attackers on a motorbike, one of whom opened fire before escaping. Osman Hadi was a frontline leader of last year's July uprising in Bangladesh, the student protest that ended the 15-year rule of ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. His killing raises urgent questions about power, extremism, and whether the country's unrest is entering a far deadlier phase. Hadi headed the radical student outfit Inqilab Manch to dismantle the Awami League. Hadi was prepared to transition from activist politics into electoral politics. Despite getting barred by UNIS government from contesting the national elections, Hadi was a candidate for the upcoming polls and was campaigning as an independent candidate from the Dhaka's Bijoy Nagar area. His campaign for the February 12 elections was in full swing when he was shot in the head by unidentified gunmen on December 12. Hadi was sent to Singapore earlier this week for advanced treatment after doctors in Dhaka described his condition as extremely critical. But Hadi succumbed to his injuries on Thursday despite the best efforts of the doctors. With Hadi's death, Bangladesh stands at a dangerous crossroads, and the fight for power threatens to plunge the nation into even deeper chaos.
Viewers, the Aravallis is one of the world's oldest mountains and the ancient Indian range, which is now at the center of a growing environmental alarm. A Supreme Court order which essentially redefined what qualifies as Aravalli land now leaves nearly 90% of the range outside legal protection. This change has triggered concerns of increased mining, loss of green cover and a serious threat to North India's climate balance. And why so? Because at this point in time, this order has come at a time when North India is reeling with severe amounts of pollution. This is the hashtag that we are following here at Republic TV. Save the Aravallis, save AQI.
India's oldest mountain range is facing its biggest threat yet. A threat that could change North India's climate, water security and survival itself. A Supreme Court order redefining what counts as Aravalli has triggered a massive national outcry and a fight to save a dying mountain system. On November 20th, the Supreme Court accepted a new definition saying only landforms 100 meters or more above the ground will be legally recognized as Aravalli. The impact, only 8.7% of the range now qualifies, meaning a staggering 91.3% may cease to exist on paper. This is not just a legal change, it is a climate disaster in the making. The Aravallis are a natural security wall, stopping the Thar Desert from marching into North India, protecting crops, communities and cities. Environmentalists say this order could trigger a chain of collapse. Hotter cities, dirtier air, and a future where North India risks being swallowed by desertification.
How do you measure 100 meters height? Like any mountain or any geographical form, when it is measured from mean sea level. Here the order says that it will be measured from the surrounding area. That is not scientific. So how do you measure a mountain or a hill range which is 100 meters? I mean, this is not a very scientific way to measure. It is not recommended, it is not scientific.
Right now, it is our one of our biggest water recharging zones. It also looks after the macro and the micro biodiversity of the route that it runs. It's almost a 690 kilometer long range. जो जैसे बताया कि ये 4 states में होता है, तो हर state का जो उधर का flora and fauna है उसको nurture करता है, ground water recharging करता है. So it is like a wall also for us, which prevents the Thar desert to come into our states. ये हटने से हमारा जैसे डेजर्ट बहुत जल्दी ग्रो करता है, ये डेजर्ट हमारे घरों तक पहुंच जाएगा.
The last 40 years around, the official figure that stands of the hills that have been mined in Rajasthan stands at around 32. And over a period of time, we have already seen, of course, the unofficial numbers are much higher, but already we are seeing, the impact of it in terms of the weather change, the climate change, the pollution, the desertification. If the storms have increased many folds and they've become so much stronger. So just imagine when, these 32 or 35 or whatever number of hills is a very small percentage of the hills in Rajasthan that have been blasted away. And if this order comes into being, we stand to lose 99% of the Aravallis in Haryana, in Rajasthan, and 90% in Haryana.
The lower ridges, now excluded, are not minor hills. They recharge groundwater, control dust, regulate temperature, especially for Delhi NCR now choking for breath. On ground, the damage is visible. Republic at Kotputli in Rajasthan, one of the hit zones.
Let us make you understand. Now, as you see on the other end, that is a mountain in another village. And according to the locals here, this mountain where you can see me standing was also of the same height. But it was actually chopped down, it was actually cut and brought to this height, so that later such decision would be accepted by the court. These would be open for mining and construction as well. Now, as per the villagers, the company here has a lease for a different kind of construction material, which is chuna patti in Hindi, and these are the ranges which are usually used for it.
जो अल्ट्राटेक सीमेंट जो खनन कर रही है, यह मंदिर माफी की ज़मीन है, SC/ST की ज़मीन है और आम रास्तों की ज़मीन है, और इनको लीज मिली हुई है चूना पत्थर की, और ये जिसकी सीमा होती है 3 फीट गहराई खोदना, और ये करते हैं 20-20 फुट के क्या है वो ड्रिल डालते हैं, और भयंकर क्या से धड़कन होती है, मकानों में दरारें आ गई, एलर्जी हो गई, प्रदूषण इतना भयंकर हो गया कि नरक का जीवन जी रहे हैं.
From Kotputli to Mohanpura, Jodhpura village, the anger is spreading. Hundreds are protesting, demanding a rollback of the order. These are not just protests, this is a movement to save India's oldest mountain range. It is above the saving the future of an entire region.
Viewers, moving on, rules are meant to be followed. But right here in the heart of the national capital, they are being blatantly ignored. Late at night, laborers were caught red-handed at a construction site, and when they were approached, they fled the scene. Not just this, we also caught on camera trucks loaded with sand and concrete which were rolling into central Delhi under the cover of darkness. So-called GRAP-4 norms seemingly ignored, as workers claim they didn't even know that construction had to stop. Shockingly enough, the administration says that these vehicles had permission to work. Now, why is this important? Because we want to essentially tell you that while the pollution debate rages not necessarily in the corridors of the parliament, but otherwise across India, what really happens when the government itself defies government rules?
It was started very recently. The lights are on. Everybody has just the moment they got to know that we are here, they've gone into hiding, and it is very clear that under the nose of the Delhi police, the authorities and the Delhi government, the construction works are still underway.
This is the most glaring example of how a government is defying government rules. In the heart of Delhi, a handful of labourers were caught red-handed late at night at a major construction site. Watch how they flee upon being approached.
भैया क्या चल रहा है ये तो अभी तो बंद है ना कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क्स.
कहाँ पे?
पूरे जगह में, पूरी दिल्ली में ग्रैब 4 लगा हुआ है, कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क बंद है.
सर तो ये परमिशन है सर.
कैसे परमिशन है? ग्रैब 4 में कैसे परमिशन हो सकता है?
Trucks laden with sand and concrete rolled into central Delhi under the cover of the night.
Well, we are here in central Delhi, one of the biggest projects here of the central government, and you can see the people we have tried to question here. They're saying that they have the permission has been granted for the construction work here. However, despite the grab 4 restriction in place, it is well within the vicinity of central Delhi, where surrounded by houses of some of the senior most leaders, senior most politicians.
The joke is on the government's so-called grab 4 norms, as the labourers say they were unaware that construction work had to be stopped.
मना होता तो फिर यहाँ काम क्यों करते हम?
तो आप लोगों को नहीं पता है कि ये ग्रैब 4 लगा हुआ है और यहाँ पे काम नहीं कर सकते?
जो हमको सरकार बोलेगी तभी मानेंगे, हमको तो बस बोलते हैं ले जाओ तो हम लेके आ गए यहाँ.
What's more appalling is that the administration says they were given a pass to bring in materials.
सरकार के ऑर्डर्स हैं आपको?
हमको तो कार्ड बना के देते हैं LNT का, वो कार्ड बोलते हैं ले जाओ काम करो जाके बस.
बताइए सर.
कोई जवाब नहीं दे सकता आप इसको.
बट आप ये कैसे जवाब नहीं दे सकते सर? पूरा प्रॉपर आवाज आ रहा है, कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क चल रहा है. ये कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क तो मना, अभी ग्रैब 4 है.
आपको अलाउ नहीं है मैडम, प्लीज कृपया करके आप थोड़ा.
तो आप मेरे को बता दीजिए, मुझे अलाउ नहीं है. बट ये
तरफ से मैडम अलाउ नहीं है.
ये सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का इतना बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट है, यहाँ पे कैसे अलाउड नहीं है सर? I understand, sir. If photography is not allowed, please tell me how is the construction work underway?
A midnight reality check, an investigation that the Delhi government will not tell you about.
Okay, viewers, what is India's biggest crisis right now? Is it vote chori? Is it of renaming bills? Or is it the Vande Mataram debate? For Delhi residents, if you ask anybody, the answer is clear. The air that we are currently breathing is turning toxic. But in Parliament, priorities tell a different story. The winter session has ended sine die, with Lok Sabha claiming only 111% productivity and Rajya Sabha 121% over 92 hours. 15 Lok Sabha sittings, yet not a single day devoted to discussing the rising air pollution issue. People-centric problems clearly taken a back seat, while leaders were spotted sharing lighter moments inside and outside Parliament. While in reality, the national capital, you and I, the citizens, the very people who elected these politicians to power, are choking.
What would you answer to our question if we asked you, what is the biggest crisis in India right now? Would it be vote chori? और वंदे मातरम?
वंदे मातरम की गरिमा को पुनर्स्थापित कर रहे हैं, लेकिन कुछ लोग हम सबके खिलाफ यह नैरेटिव बनाने की कोशिश कर सकते हैं कि वंदे मातरम और जनगण मन के बीच एक दीवार खड़ी की जा रही है. ऐसा नैरेटिव बनाने का प्रयास यह विभाजनकारी मानसिकता का परिचय देता है अध्यक्ष महोदय.
और रीनेमिंग द मनरेगा बिल. Living in Delhi, you might answer the deteriorating level of the air quality. However, other issues are more important for our lawmakers, sitting comfortably inside the parliament, debating and discussing any and everything but the worsening AQI.
All important matters, government is ready to discuss.
Both the houses of parliament have been adjourned sine die. For this winter session, Lok Sabha recorded a record productivity of 111%, while Rajya Sabha functioned for 92 hours with productivity of 121%. But the debate on people-centric issues held the least importance in the grand scheme of things. A total of 15 sittings of the Lok Sabha that took place, but not a single day spared for discussing increasing air pollution in the country. Now that the House is adjourned, people's hopes of action being taken against worsening AQI have been crushed. Rather, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari and Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra were seen having a playful moment, while Delhi chokes in toxic air.
Sir, this is regarding the highway between Chandigarh and Simla, which has very similar issues as the honourable member raised, except that in many places it seems like the retaining wall is so low that those are the very places where the landslide is taking place. So may I request you to please look into the matter? And may I also request you to grant me an appointment? I've been asking since June to talk about my constituency, sir.
मैडम आज क्वेश्चन आवर के बाद आप आ जाइए, कभी भी आइए, मेरा दरवाजा हर समय खुला रहता है, अपॉइंटमेंट लेने की भी जरूरत.
Even on the last day of the winter session, the politicians chose to turn a blind eye towards this alarming issue. The House may be adjourned, but the crisis isn't. Parliament goes silent while the air we breathe turns deadlier by the day.
And finally, viewers, former Maharashtra Minister Manik Rao Kokate's 2-year jail term has now been stayed by a court in Nashik. This comes just 2 days after he resigned following his conviction in a 1995 cheating scandal. He was later admitted to Lilavati Hospital with chest pain, delaying police action despite a non-bailable warrant waiting to be served. What's on the plate for him next is a legal battle, a pending arrest, and a political storm that is far from settling.
Maharashtra Minister and NCP leader Manik Rao Kokate resigned from the post after conviction in a 1995 cheating case. Ajit Pawar, portraying full support to the verdict of the court, accepted the resignation, stating constitutional morality and institutional integrity to draw a veil on the case before the upcoming elections. In the latest, Kokate has complained about a sudden chest pain and has been admitted to the ICU of Lilavati Hospital in Mumbai. Following the arrest, Nasik police team, led by ACP Sandeep Mitke, reached Lilavati Hospital. After a discussion with doctors, police was informed that Manik Rao Kokate is scheduled for an angiography test and discharge would take place if the reports are normal. Police has been left cooling their heels and to serve non-bailable warrants straight away upon discharge. It is left entirely on the medical reports on when the minister will be taken into custody. The opposition says just arrest and resignation is not enough and demands disqualification of the minister immediately. As per the allegations, the entire action is just to sweep it under the carpet, so the Indian National Congress does not face its consequences in the upcoming elections. Post all this, Kokate has also appealed the Bombay High Court to challenge the conviction and seek a stay on the sentence to avoid immediate disqualification.
And that's all that we had in this edition of 6 Stories at 6 for you. But do stay on with us, because on the other side we'll get you more live and breaking updates. My colleague Abhishek Kapoor. Thanks for watching.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, mass comm, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा सबका राजा आरती और मसाला।
प्लीज स्टॉप। झुमका तेरा झुमका तेरा झुमका। नॉट देयर, मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा। तेरा झुमका। मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
So primarily, when we talk about air quality index, AQI, basically the full form of AQI is air quality index, which is basically various parameters on which the air quality is assessed. Of course, in India, we actually follow PM 2.5, which is particulate matter 2.5, which is actually 40 times smaller than human hair. So it's very, very tiny. And then there's PM 10, there's ozone.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
प्लीज स्टॉप। झुमका तेरा झुमका तेरा झुमका। नॉट देयर, मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा। तेरा झुमका। मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला। आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
So primarily, when we talk about air quality index, AQI, basically the full form of AQI is air quality index, which is basically various parameters on which the air quality is assessed. Of course, in India, we actually follow PM 2.5, which is particulate matter 2.5, which is actually 40 times smaller than human hair. So it's very, very tiny. And then there's PM 10, there's ozone, there's sulfur dioxide, and there's also carbon. In the sense, carbon.
Bangladesh interim government chief Mohammad Yunus issues first statement amid unrest in the country.
Wanted to instigate his extremists and their handful of followers with the help of other fanatic political parties and start a riot across the country.
Former Bangladesh Minister Mohibul Hassan Chaudhry slams Yunus for unrest in the country, says it's a total failure of the Yunus government. Open assault on Hindus under Yunus watch. Hindu worker lynched by violent mob. over allegations of a controversial remark. Campaign to save the Aravallis gathers esteemed national concern over redefining Aravalli mountain range that protects all of North India. And Republic TV investigation exposes what the government won't show you. An extensive ground report on how construction continues in Delhi past midnight.
मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Prime Minister, sir, for your guidance and steadfast commitment to wellness, prevention and inclusion of health. Your words today, sir, will continue to shape global conversations and collective action in traditional medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us for the second WHO Global Summit on Traditional Medicines. Kindly remember.
All right, that was Prime Minister speaking at a World Health Organization event on alternative medicine. Now, all right, we are getting a breaking news development. That's in connection with the Enforcement Directorate questioning Jai Ambani. Of course, you know the number of cases that are going on against the Ambani group of Reliance, and now Jai Ambani, the son of Anil Ambani, being questioned there by the Enforcement Directorate. Will get Shravan live soon on this. These are pictures coming in. We have pictures coming in of Jai Ambani being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. If we can patch Shravan quickly on phone, we'll have more information. The number of cases in connection with the Enforcement Directorate is investigating Jai Ambani, son of Anil Ambani, in connection with a money laundering case linked to the Reliance Housing Finance Limited. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, has already imposed a rupees 1 crore penalty on Jai for violating norms. For more on this, let's go to Shravan. He's joining us over the phone from the newsroom. Shravan, it's been a long ongoing probe against the ADAG group, but this seems that the ED has now reached Jai Ambani also. What's the case?
Well, in fact, the Central Bureau of Investigation had recently filed 2 cases. In one case, which is basically against Reliance Housing Finance Limited, in which we are now being given to understand Jai Ambani happens to be the second accused number 2 in this particular case. The case is pertaining to loans that were allegedly received by Reliance Home Finance Limited, and the fact that there was diversion of funds that had essentially taken place. Important to point out here, Abhishek, is that the initial cases that have been registered by the Enforcement Directorate, in which Anil Ambani has been called in for questioning, is different than the case in which where his son Jai Ambani is being called in for questioning. It's a separate case, which was first filed by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Thereafter, the Enforcement Directorate has also stepped in. Now we are given to understand that the Enforcement Directorate has called in for questioning Jai Ambani. This is with regards to the time that he was also a director in the company, and the fact that funds that were basically received from a consortium of banks, it was eventually diverted to what is being called as related parties.
Right, Shravan, one last quick question before I let you go. The Reliance ADAG group always says that these are old cases. What are the antecedents of this case? Is this a new, fresh case or an old one?
Well, in fact, this is a fresh case that has been registered first by the CBI. This is against the Reliance Home Finance Limited, in which promoters and directors of unknown bank officials have also been named in the particular case, and this is based on a complaint that was filed by the Union Bank of India. And the allegations were of criminal conspiracy, cheating, and also criminal misconduct. And the wrongful loss was roughly about 228 crore rupees. In fact, at that point in time, Reliance Home Finance Limited was availing loans to the tune of about 5,000 crore rupees, and that too from 18 banks. And following which, remember, this complaint has now been filed by the Union Bank of India, and we are now given to understand that after the CBI, Enforcement Directorate has also begun questioning Jay Ambani.
All right, fair enough. So those are the details of the case in which Jay Ambani, son of Anil Ambani, is being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. We leave it there for now. That was a breaking news development. Moving on to a very important development coming in from Tamil Nadu, where the first draft of the special intensive revision of the electoral rolls has been brought out by the Election Commission. The draft SIR list for Chennai, for example, has over 14 lakh voters removed. That's a big number, and obviously with the kind of politicking we saw happening on the SIR issue in Bihar, you can expect the same happening in Tamil Nadu. The final data is out. We'll try and connect with our correspondent Sharada Natarajan from Chennai for more on this and have more details. For example, apart from Chennai, the numbers are out for Kanchipuram, which has 6.5 lakh voters removed. Coimbatore has 6.5 lakh voters removed. And Vellore has over 2 lakh voters removed, among others. Kanchipuram, 2.75 lakh voters. Sharda is joining us live with us from Chennai for more on this. Sharda, are the final numbers out for the entire state? And have you been able to glean the first reaction from the DMK government, given these large number of voters who are going to be removed from the voters list?
Well, Abhishek, as you just said, almost a crore voters is set to be removed from the Tamil Nadu existing voters list. Of the 8 crores voters that we already have from Tamil Nadu, it's expected that only 7 crores are to be voting. Exactly 97,37,831 voters have been removed, and the maximum voters being removed from Chennai city area, which includes the area of Sholingnallur, Pallavaram and Alandur, which are the top tier areas in Chennai, and this is where the maximum number of voters have been removed. I have the list as I'm speaking to you. Out of the 6 crores 41 lakhs 14,587 voters, 2 crores are men and 2 crores are women, and 7,000 transgender voters have been added. Now we can see that almost a crore voters is set to be removed from the first draft of the SIR that's been released today. We have in 1 more month asking for the claims and petitions from the new voters will also be applying, following which the Election Commission officer would be able to say the exact number of voters present in Tamil Nadu. As we speak, DMK is starting to react to this. They already started their road-to-road drive, making sure that their poll booths do not have any missing members, and they have implemented 70 DMK booth officials in every single constituency, and it's expected that the DMK is going to go door-to-door, especially the BLA2s are going to door-to-door, and they have a campaign running already. It's called Nam Vaakku Chavadi, Vetri Vaakku Chavadi, meaning our poll booth, a victory poll booth, making sure that not even a single voter is missed out from the DMK. As we speak, they also have multiple campaigns that DMK is running to make sure that not even a single voter is missed out, whereas the AIADMK points out, telling that it is DMK trying to again bring back all the duplicate voters. And we also have the final update on this, saying that 12,000 voters who received the form have not filled the form and returned to the Election Commission yet.
A lot of questions, Sharda. A quick one is that 1 crore voters removed is about 15% of the total voter list. That's a huge number. How many are added when 1 crore are removed?
Well, we have to wait for the exact numbers for that. Now, we can say that at least more out of the 1 crore voters, 10 lakh voters might be added more, which includes only the new set of voters. This is what the election officer speaking to the media told, and this is the update that the Tamil Nadu has as of right now on the SIR draft 1. As we see, we are in the phase 2 of SIR, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, and the Puducherry numbers were given out yesterday. Comparatively, all constituencies of the 39 have 2 lakh voters similarly removed, with Chennai alone having the maximum of 15 lakhs removed. And adding the new voters to the list in the coming days, exactly a month from today, we can say that 10 lakh voters might be added, but we can be very sure that not more than 6 crore 50 lakh voters would be turning out for Tamil Nadu this year in 2026 elections.
All right. Thank you so much, Sharda, with those details. But we are just seeing the beginning of politicking on the issue of SIR in Tamil Nadu with the kind of numbers that's that are getting removed from the voters list. No clarity yet as to how many would get added, and of these removed, how many could find their name back. Politicking ahead in Tamil Nadu over the SIR. Moving on, breaking news from Bangladesh. Protests ongoing in Shahbag area of Dhaka following the killing of Inqilab Manch spokesperson Sharif Osman Hadi, who died under treatment in Singapore, whose body has been brought back as we speak to Dhaka. Hundreds of people have gathered at Shahbag, blocking surrounding roads and chanting slogans. The demonstrators are demanding justice for Hadi's death and have erected barricades with law enforcement agencies stationed nearby. The protests have led to disruptions with traffic suspended and some areas experiencing vandalism and arson, including attacks on media offices.
দর্শক আপনাদের আবারও সংযুক্ত করছি শাহবাগ থেকে। নারায়ে তাকবীর, আল্লাহু আকবার, এরকম আরো বিভিন্ন স্লোগানের মাধ্যমে তাদের আন্দোলনকে উজ্জীবিত করে রাখছেন এবং আরো বিভিন্ন স্লোগান তারা দিচ্ছেন, আমরা সবাই হাদি হব, এরকম আরো অনেক, এবং আন্দোলনকারীরা বিভিন্ন স্লোগানের মাধ্যমে তাদের আন্দোলন।
All right, while staying with Bangladesh, fresh violence was reported last night from many parts of the country after anti-Indian activist Osman Hadi died in Singapore. Osman Hadi had been attacked and was admitted in Singapore for treatment. He succumbed to his injuries, leading to these pictures of violence and anarchy coming in from across Bangladesh. Indian establishment, particularly the High Commission or the consulates, being particular targets. Take a look.
Offices set ablaze. Properties vandalized. Documents burnt. And all this in Bangladesh after Singapore Foreign Ministry confirmed the death of Osman Hadi, an anti-India activist and the forefront campaigner for disbanding Sheikh Hasina's Awami League. Ransacked, vandalized, and burnt. This is the office of Dhaka's leading national newspaper, Daily Star. Visuals describe the plunder of Prothom Alo office, another leading national daily in Bangladesh. Violent mob entered the Prothom Alo office, destroyed it, vandalized the property, and all the papers were thrown out and burnt in open. This is the residence of former Bangladesh PM Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The smoke of radicalism rises with a free run to extremists in Bangladesh. The mob that calls itself student activists marched, plundered newsrooms while journalists barely escaped. As anarchy and arson gathered steam in Bangladesh last night, anti-India slogans were raised outside the Indian Assistant High Commission. With extremism on rise, Indian envoy's residence was also attacked.
So Bangladesh is once again on the edge. The death of radical student leader Sharif Osman Hadi after his assassination has ignited fresh unrest, raising fears that the country's already volatile politics are sliding into a far more dangerous phase. More in this report.
Bangladesh is reeling from another violent turn in its turbulent politics. Severe unrest, anti-India slogans. The trigger point? assassination of their 32-year-old radical student leader, Sharif Osman Hadi, a radical student leader with an anti-India stance. Also circulated maps of so-called Greater Bangladesh that had several Indian territories. According to police, the timing of the attack immediately raised alarms. Hadi was shot at 2:25 p.m. in the Bijoy Nagar area. The video shows Hadi was riding in a rickshaw when he was followed by attackers on a motorbike, one of whom opened fire before escaping. Osman Hadi was a frontline leader of last year's July uprising in Bangladesh, the student protest that ended the 15-year rule of ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. His killing raises urgent questions about power, extremism, and whether the country's unrest is entering a far deadlier phase. Hadi headed the radical student outfit Inqilab Manch to dismantle the Awami League. Hadi was prepared to transition from activist politics into electoral politics. Despite getting barred by Yunus government from contesting the national elections, Hadi was a candidate for the upcoming polls and was campaigning as an independent candidate from the Dhaka's Bijoy Nagar area. His campaign for the February 12 elections was in full swing when he was shot in the head by unidentified gunmen on December 12. Hadi was sent to Singapore earlier this week for advanced treatment after doctors in Dhaka described his condition as extremely critical. But Hadi succumbed to his injuries on Thursday despite the best efforts of the doctors. With Hadi's death, Bangladesh stands at a dangerous crossroads, and the fight for power threatens to plunge the nation into even deeper chaos.
In a Republic, super exclusive documents reveal that the Delhi government has floated a tender for 15 air purifiers for its secretariat with a budget of over 5 lakh rupees earmarked for use by babus and netas. The tender specifies that each device must have a minimum of 3 filters and be equipped with advanced features, indicating a demand for smart air purifiers. Even as people, the commoners, continue to breathe this toxic, poisonous air, the netas and the babus shield themselves in their offices. This was in the month of May, and which means that they were already preparing to shield themselves from this toxic air, which they expected to come by November or December, even as they failed to do anything for the masses. This is an exclusive coming in, a government tender exposing how people in power abuse their position. At taxpayers' cost, they can save themselves, shield themselves, and keep the air purified inside their offices, even as people out there have to suffer the smog, toxicity, and AQI levels crossing 500. All right, we are not leaving this a story of air pollution till the powers that be understand that people have a rage within. From central Delhi, we bring to you this sequence where construction workers were caught red-handed at a major construction site, continuing their work late into the night. Complete violation of GRAP norms. Have a look.
अच्छा अभी भैया काम चल रहा है क्या इधर? पूरा काम चल रहा है, आवाज आ रही है. ये आवाज कैसे आ रही है? ये पूरा आवाज आ तो रही है. काम करते रहेगा. पूरी हो रही है ये फोटो. पूरा काम चल रहा है. Here we are in the heart of Delhi, in Sarojini Nagar, where despite Grapho you can see people running there and hiding. कैसा काम चल रहा है भैया इधर? It is one of the sites located here, one of the construction sites located here in Sarojini Nagar, wherein the construction work was underway. When we tried to speak to the people here, the guards here, 3 to 4 guards specifically have been assigned for that, and they denied that any such activity was being undertaken. While we tried to speak to the laborers also when they were on this particular crane thing, and when we tried to confront them, they ran away. Let's see inside where all people have been deployed here and still working, because people are in hiding. There are many such locations here in the national capital wherein, despite the restrictions, because of the increasing AQI, because of the increasing pollution, despite that, Grab 4 restrictions also in the place, people have been working, and it is under the nose of the Delhi government that it is still happening. Mind you, this is one such location. We tried to speak to the people here, but they ran away. We'll try and look out for laborers who ran away when we tried to question them about what they were doing. As you can see, the construction process was in full process, because the smoke and everything is still very much as if they were. It was started very recently. The lights are on. Everybody has just the moment they got to know that we are here, they've gone into hiding, and it is very clear that under the nose of the Delhi police, the authorities, and the Delhi government, the construction works are still underway. This is our report, an exclusive report on Republic TV. This is Soumya Jaiswal with Vijay Yashpal.
All right, it's not just the private sector, even the public sector, surprisingly, continues its construction activity. Soumya, in fact, caught up one such place where trucks laden with sand and concrete rolled into right there in central Delhi. Some government work. Again, a breach of GRAP 4 norms that are in place. Have a look.
भैया क्या चल रहा है ये तो अभी तो बंद है ना कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क्स?
कहाँ पे?
पूरे जगह में, पूरी दिल्ली में ग्रैब 4 लगा हुआ है, कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क बंद है।
सर तो ये परमिशन है सर।
कैसे परमिशन है? ग्रैब 4 में कैसे परमिशन हो सकता है? ग्रैब 4 इज इन well, we are here in central Delhi, one of the biggest projects here of the central government, and you can see the people we have tried to question here. They're saying that they have the permission has been granted for the construction work here. However, despite the GRAP 4 restriction in place, it is well within the vicinity of central Delhi, where surrounded by houses of some of the senior most leaders, senior most politicians serving here in our country, MPs here, and this is one such location wherein the construction work is in place. सर बट कंस्ट्रक्शन तो मना है ना सर?
मना है।
क्या मना है सर? बट कंस्ट्रक्शन तो मना है ना? कैसे कंस्ट्रक्शन कर रहे हैं? बताइए सर।
कोई जवाब नहीं दे सकता आप इसको।
बट आप ये कैसे जवाब नहीं दे सकते सर? पूरा प्रॉपर आवाज आ रहा है, कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क चल रहा है, ये कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क तो मना, अभी ग्रैब 4 है।
सर आपको अलाउ नहीं है मैडम, प्लीज कृपया करके आप थोड़ा सा
तो आप मेरे को बता दीजिए, मुझे अलाउ नहीं है, बट ये
तरफ से मैडम अलाउ नहीं है आपको।
ये सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का इतना बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट है, यहाँ पे कैसे अलाउड नहीं है सर? आई अंडरस्टैंड सर, इफ फोटोग्राफी इज नॉट अलाउड, प्लीज टेल मी हाउ इज द कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क अंडरवे? आप मेरे को बस सिर्फ इतना बता दीजिए कि जब ग्रैब 4 है लगा हुआ, तो एक सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का प्रोजेक्ट कैसे चल रहा है?
वो परमिशन दिखाओ, बाद में बात करेंगे आपके।
आप इन्होंने मुझे भी बोला कि आपको परमिशन। Well, see, everybody is dodging the question and they're not ready to answer the question. This is well within central Delhi, surrounded by the government houses of the senior most leaders. This is one of the projects of the central government wherein the construction works are still underway. And this is our exclusive report from here in central Delhi.
All right, short break, but coming up on the other side, this is exclusive with Shawan Sen, in which he focuses on the targeting of Hindus under Yunus's watch in Bangladesh.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा आरती और मसाला।
Please stop!
झुमका तेरा झुमका, तेरा झुमका।
Not there. मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा।
तेरा झुमका। मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप, जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप, जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
Please stop!
झुमका तेरा झुमका, तेरा झुमका।
Not there. मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा।
तेरा झुमका। मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा आरती और मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
So primarily, when we talk about air quality index, AQI, basically the full form of AQI is air quality index, which is basically various parameters on which the air quality is assessed.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
welcome you watching the Friday edition of This Is Exclusive with me, Shavin Sen. Our focus on two big stories coming up this Friday. One, in Bangladesh. Not very surprising when radicals have essentially been given a complete free run in Bangladesh, and this is exactly what has essentially happened with them going completely amok. A Hindu leader is lynched to death, and Yunus's administration simply continues with the lip service. And it seems that there is a concerted effort that is now being made to somehow blame India for the assassination of a leader, a student leader that has taken place in Dhaka just about a few days ago. And in fact, this was a story that we showed you on This Is Exclusive, which no other network in India was actually showing you, about how the student leader's death brings back what many are now calling the return of unknown gunmen. We do not know who really killed the student leader in Dhaka, who was a prominent face during the protests that took place following the ouster of the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina. All this and much more in this edition of This Is Exclusive, but up first, let me take you through the headlines we're tracking at this hour.
The Yunus regime wanted to instigate his extremists and their handful of followers with the help of other fanatic political parties and start a riot across the country.
Former Bangladesh Minister Mohibul Hasan Chaudhry slams Yunus for unrest in Bangladesh, says it's a total failure of Yunus government. Open assault on Hindus under Yunus's watch. Hindu worker lynched by violent mob over allegations of controversial remarks. Campaign to save the Aravallis gathers steam. National concern over redefining Aravalli mountain range that protects all of North India. Republic TV investigation exposes what the government won't show you. An extensive ground report on how construction continued in the Delhi past midnight. Ladies and gentlemen, as of 19th of December 2025, the streets of Dhaka and beyond are ablaze with protests, arson, mob violence following the death of a prominent youth leader. This isn't just a flashpoint. It's the culmination of months of political turmoil, economic hardship, and rising extremism. The immediate trigger for the latest wave of unrest is the death of Sharif Osman Hadi, a key figure in the 2024 student-led uprising that toppled former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Hadi, seen as a symbol of the pro-democracy movement, died after he was assassinated. Now, what started as mourning has spiraled into destruction. Offices of major newspapers like the Daily Star, Prothom Alo and the New Age were vandalized and set ablaze, putting journalists' lives at risk in what critics call an assault on free speech. A Hindu man, Deepu Chandra Das, was lynched amid the chaos, and this is a grim reminder of the targeted minority violence. Anti-India rhetoric has surged, with slogans accusing New Delhi of meddling, including alleged involvement in Hadi's death with absolutely no proof whatsoever. Protesters have marched on diplomatic missions, leading to heightened security at the Bangladesh High Commission in New Delhi. Tonight, we'll break down the what, the why, and what it means for Bangladesh and the entire region.
An ordinary day in Bangladesh translated into violence. Under broad daylight, on the 12th of December, unidentified gunmen shot down Sharif Osman Hadi. An extremist who claimed of attacking India's northeast. He was a secessionist who failed to break Bharat. With Hadi's killing, there's complete anarchy in Bangladesh. Media house offices torched, Indian embassy surrounded. Sheikh Mujibur's residence vandalized. What has unfolded in Dhaka over the last 24 hours is a testament to the fact that it's a free-for-all rule in Bangladesh.
The Yunus regime wanted to instigate his extremists and their handful of followers with the help of other fanatic political parties and start a riot across the country. So the objective is to primarily delay the election that they themselves are talking about.
The anti-India rhetoric has been undeniable.
Very well planned, as Yunus said, meticulously designed regime change operation with Jamaat-e-Islami in full control. Now, Jamaat-e-Islami and the other Islamist organizations are still calling all the shots. Now, they're using this instance of the attack on this leader who has now died, Osman Hadi, to bring in anti-Indianism. Within seconds of this attack on him, they had called in the Indian High Commissioner in Dhaka and told him that India has done this and so on. And we know that every person whom you call from Bangladesh will say that. You know, this person is in India, we want him back. Sheikh Hasina is in India, we want her back. So this is a deliberate attempt to fan anti-Indianism and to disguise the fact that Muhammad Yunus is unable to control the situation in Bangladesh.
But the question is, for how long can the Yunus regime turn a blind eye?
There's a concerted effort that is now being made currently in Bangladesh to blame India for what's really happening on the ground. In fact, they're saying that since India is protecting the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, that is the reason why they're demanding action to be taken. And Yunus's government has been silent on this entire matter. Joining me tonight on This Is Exclusive is the former Education Minister of Bangladesh, who was essentially seen as the rising star within the Awami League party. In fact, also seen as a close aide of former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina. Mohibul Hassan Chaudhary, thank you very much for joining me on This Is Exclusive tonight. Let me begin by asking you, grim moments currently in Bangladesh, but the entire blame, it seems, is now being heaped on India. In fact, in a short while from now, Mohibul, I'm going to put out some data of how the Pakistani ISI is essentially trying to coordinate all of this. I'm going to put out the details. I've just received an information from a source of mine. But till that time, Mohibul, could you just tell us what's really happening? What's the assessment that you all are making? And how are things going out of control now?
You see, the regime itself has orchestrated this violence. Two ministers of their government, straight after resigning from their position, has gone to the main Shahbag Square of Dhaka and has called for revenge. They have literally said that we want blood for blood. We are ready to be martyred for the cause. So just like how jihadists